never been a big fan of goose-stepping soldiers and big tanks and missiles rolling down the street. So if you ask me, I wouldn't have done it. I'm not sure what the actual expense of it is, but I'm not really, we were always different than, the images you saw of the Soviet Union and North Korea. We were proud not to be that. And I'm not proposing that that's the image people want to project, but I'm worried about the image, that it isn't necessarily the best image to show.
So the estimated price tag, about $40 million. And I'm sure that Rand Paul was not implying that the soldiers who will be involved this weekend will be goose-stepping, but he's talking about big, showy military parades in other places that we used to regard as something inconsistent with American values.
I will say one of my favorite phrases I heard as a very young conservative was from Rand Paul's father, Ron Paul, and it was about nation building abroad. And so, the father and the son, the Pauls, really don't like all the money we've ported over militarily to places there aren't conflicts. So I think it's a little bit of what you just heard from the senator right there is rooted in that
They don't want us to
ideology.
look like authoritarian regimes.
And that's entirely it. Truly, when you look at the moment, what we're getting criticized about from the world over is that you've got a wannabe king in your perch at the White House. How does this make it not so? This exhibition of military might doesn't celebrate the Army's birthday. What it does is says to the world, we are mighty, we're still here, we're not going away. And oh, by the way, we've got a very strong leader, so be scared of us. Yeah. I'm not really sure that's the message we ought to be sending in the year 2025. When, again, back to father and son Paul, who I very much have always admired in many ways, back to their thing, let's look inward and solve some of the problems with all that money